Sam, how are you, my darling, my love?
Alasdair, I'm good, my lover. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And I'll tell you why I'm feeling just so good.
Oh, go on,
I'll tell you one particular reason. When I've got a little glass of bubbly, let me see if the microphone can pick up on these.
I seem to have misplaced my glass of bubbly. I had it on the table.
That's a real shame. I'm just going to put mine in the glass to see if you...
Can you pick up on that?
Tell you what, I can already see there's no bubbles coming out of that.
Audience description, there's some light bubbles coming from a glass of Prosecco Rosé.
Alasdair holds up his microphone to a glass of pale pink liquid and no bubbles come out.
For the fake ASMR, I can just go...
Sam, I'm so excited because today we have a special guest, because last week we tackled the entire 13th Doctor's era and we didn't slag it off. We really didn't. We gave a very fair and balanced review.
We've had more people message us saying we were too nice than that we were slagging it off.
Sure, but the section we kind of skimmed past was the Flux, and we had to find ourselves a real Flux fan, and it's one we've wanted to get on the pod for so long.
Yes, a Fluxitarian, if you might.
A Fluxitarian. Should we... Who did that chuckle come from?
Oh, let's look over here. It's our good friend, David!
Never fear, Mummy's here.
Who is here? How are you, my love?
You know what? Out of 10, for a random night in October, I'm going to say an 8.5 to a 9.
Oh my.
That's a very hefty number.
How much of that are we responsible for, my
Oh,
darling?
1.
You were just having a really good
I'm just having
day.
a great time. My serotonin levels are up, which is a surprise given how dark it is outside.
I know.
Looking out there at pitch black, you wouldn't think it's 2 p.m, would you?
No, I've had chicken, I've had chips, and I've watched a very good episode of Doctor Who with two lovely people, so it's nice, it's all going very well.
Stop it, you flatter us.
I do try.
We mean to have you on for so long that you've since set up your own rival
I feel
podcast.
like I can't be bothered waiting for these two, so let's just do it ourselves.
If you gotta do something, you do it yourself.
If we don't have a platform, make one.
Exactly.
Yeah, as of today, when this episode goes out, the Who Watch podcast will be born.
Ah, is that the name, the Who Watch?
The Who Watch,
I
because
love
we're really
it.
inventive. So it's myself and Beth Axford, formerly of this parish. So yeah, Beth and I we've been talking about it for quite a while, of like, we should do something Doctor Who related. What should we do? Oh, maybe we should do a podcast. Oh, okay, we'll maybe do one. And then the thing that spurred us on was the BBC announcing that every single, well, almost
Touchy subject.
every single episode of Doctor Who and extended universe or Whoniverse.
Ooh.
Beth and I thought, well, screw it, let's do it now. Let's just do it.
Let's do it.
Well, let's do it tonight. So we are watching every single episode from 1963 onwards. And we worked out that it will take us, if we did an episode every week for the next 5 years, we would finally get up to the end of Flux.
Oh my God.
So we were like, I think it's going to take us a little while, but that's fine.
That's less bad than I thought.
Well, no, because we had a similar thing with Wholala, because we were meant to be doing every episode from the beginning of New Who up, and then we did the maths and a similar thing, but we were like, I think for us it was like 3 years or something, and we were like, but the specials are going to come out. So that was when we decided we'd start like hopping around a bit.
And thank God you did, because I was, first of all, you were two of the first people that we told, because we were like, we both love these two, and we don't want to feel like we're treading on any toes. We don't want to feel like we're invading people's faces. Hello, everybody. We're making a podcast. Is that okay?
It was the cutest thing. You sent such a good. Alice put it well. It was almost like I've been fucking your ex like thing. Whereas like I just wanted
It's like getting a bit serious now, and you might see us together at a party, and I want it to come from me. At some point, we'll just make this more efficient, I think, and just have 15 of us around a table.
No,
arguing.
The round table. No, it's going to be us, come along pond.
The round table, just call it
Radio
that.
Free Scarrow.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to have the Bannerman Road Buddies and About Time.
Yeah.
And we'll have Josh Snares on the end of a Zoom call.
Where is Josh Snares?
There's enough content for everyone.
Not only that wouldn't make any sense.
It's lucky you're pretty. It's really lucky that you're pretty.
Nothing
You're
behind
welcome.
those eyes. Is there?
Nothing behind the
Nothing
eyes, but
behind
there
the
is something
eyes.
between these legs, I'll tell you that.
And on both occasions, it's a small monkey with a symbol.
You are such
Lisa
silly
needs
little
braces. Gel blab.
Lisa needs braces.
Gel blab.
boys. Regeneration.
No, but my point is that I genuinely want there to be as many Doctor Who podcasts in space, and I love seeing, because me and Alice get very frustrated with big studio paid podcasts getting the spotlight everywhere, and I love seeing Doctor Who fan podcasts pop up and seeing people genuinely interact and love it. Like, obviously I love it with ours, but love seeing it with Come Along Pond, About Time, and all the others. So I'm very, very excited to listen to your new podcast.
And you can add to the list the Who Watch, available every Wednesday from yesterday to
It's out
the
now.
future. It's out now.
Go listen to it. It's amazing. I've not listened to it yet, but it's great.
It's out of my laptop currently, waiting to be edited.
We're recording this episode on Monday night before we're posting this. We'll post this on Thursday. So it's currently mid-birth. It's mid-birth.
It's mid-birth. It's currently waiting for me to go to an egg slot on Tuesday and sit and edit it.
Yeah.
She's crowning. She's crowning.
She's crowning.
I love the way that you can listen to the classics on a Wednesday and New Who on a Thursday.
Yeah.
I do appreciate you not posting on a Thursday.
Oh no, we were like, we're not going to do it on a Thursday because you've taken up that space. Thursday, listening to Wholala on my way home from work, for me, is a sign of the weekend.
Oh, I love that.
It's like the
We're
start
seeing
of
in the
weekend.
weekend.
One other fun piece of news
Yeah,
before we
Alice,
get into.
have you been involved in like a television project?
I
feel like you've been talking about it on this podcast for a couple of weeks now. And
But no one's pulled us up on it.
no, I mean,
No one cared.
No.
No one was interested. I was like, a little bit of a BBC project. Not one comment. No one cared.
He kept putting the fishing pole out. It did
And
not
I
get a bite.
kept putting on the fishing pole.
it's a prime time BBC project. Anytime.
Anyone want to know? Anyone want to know? And no one wants to know. So, yeah, they announced this morning. Well, it's funny. So I applied with Sam. It's funny. I proceeded as a cue, like, please clap. I applied with, Sam applied on our behalf for us in Buckingham. And Sam, we got offered an audition and Sam wasn't available.
For the dates of filming.
For dates filming.
Yeah, I applied and they got back and they said they were interested in the two of us for it.
I was available, so I swapped in. I didn't really give them the choice. It's like, can I bring my sister? I was like, that's cool. Anna's available to audition instead.
Well,
She's my sister.
no. What happened before that?
She's just completely forgotten this. Well, it's really nice being friends with you, Sam, because you consider me and think about me.
Yeah,
and
I do.
make me feel included and loved.
No, I like to remember things that happened.
Yeah, it's just I just feel loved and appreciated by you.
Yeah, because seeing as Alice is not going to say, I'll say, we asked you first.
We did. I sent. Well, also let me preface this. I did send 4 long voice notes to Dave, and he took 2 days to reply, and I kept that space held.
I'm really bad. I will either be so on it and like reply within seconds, or I will
days.
see it and I'll probably be working and go, I will get back to that, and then at the end of the workday, I'll be like, I do not want to look at my phone. I do not want to do anything apart from listen to a silly little podcast, subscribe to Wholala. Or just like, I will want to listen to some music and do Who Watch. Like, I will not want to interact with anything. So I apologize to you. This is my public apology. It's like something that
I never thought I was going to have to make this video.
I never thought I would have to do this.
Oh my God. No, I was very, very happy for it. I was devastated that I couldn't be there, especially seeing all the posts and the photos that were posting. I really wanted to do it with you, but I am very happy for you. I'm very, very excited to see you in the entire episode.
I'm really happy for you.
I'm really happy for you.
I'm really happy for you.
No, so in case you haven't read the title of this episode, which is Village of the Angels,
What?
we watched Village of the Angels.
Did we?
We did.
Oh.
What do we think, lads?
I thought I blacked out then. I found out quite recently I can do a Kermit voice when singing.
Have you?
Go on.
Midnight, you coming home, you treat me red lights.
Miss Piggy, that's so good. Oh my goodness, Miss Piggy. Little Kermit the Frog, hello there. Oh, so Kermit's going to be doing the rest of this pod. So, what do we think of those angels?
If there's one that's true, and I rolled out a few times.
I thought it was a little scary, but you really like it, especially when Jodie Whittaker got the wings.
I've only got Toad. I can't join in.
Oh, you can do Toad. Miss Mario. This episode is spiraling.
So, The Village of Angels, we've just watched it tonight. If you haven't watched it tonight, or indeed for a couple of years, please allow us to bring you up to speed with a little episode summary.
Yes. Now, this episode came out nearly 2 years ago. It was on the 21st of November 2021. It was directed by Jamie Magnus Stone and written by Chris Chibnall and Maxine Alderton. It had a viewership of 4.47 million. That's consolidated. That's not the overnight viewings. Feels a bit low for me, but I guess it is kind of representative of how many viewers it was getting at the time. And an IMDb score of 7.8 out of 10, which I think is very respectable. It's a very good episode.
I think it's all about audience share these days, or something like that.
Whoa.
Snap out of it!
Get out of it.
Whoa. I can't do a good share. My boyfriend can. It makes me laugh. He just goes, "Whoa, share, bitch."
Have you ever seen Trixie do homophobic share?
Oh my gosh.
But you haven't. She's like, if I could turn back time, I'd make marriage between a man and a woman. Whoa.
I'm glad that distracted from the need for me to explain what good audience figures look like. I've got no idea, and I'm so glad you jumped in with a share joke. Can someone do the 13th Doctor show?
Don't make me fly the plane.
Don't make me do it, Doc. Don't make me fly the plane.
God.
I just want to preface, this is going to be a fun episode.
It's a fun episode. Okay.
I'm so glad that you're here for the ride.
We're about 10% through the
Whoa,
episode.
watch the flux.
Oh, there it is in my eyes.
You look nothing like 4 bears.
Now, Alasdair, go on, jump in with the episode summary.
Oh, that was a good segue. The Dr. Yaz and Dan face a timey-wimey conundrum when the TARDIS strands them in Mediton 1967 while trying to escape a weeping angel. There, they get entangled in the mystery of a missing girl named Peggy and warnings from the elderly Mrs. Hayward to evacuate the village. It turns out that Mediton has a history of mass disappearances in 1901 and 1967.
As they investigate, they discover a laboratory run by Professor Jericho experimenting on psychic powers with Claire, who came from 2021. Claire holds a key information about the Angel's presence, and Angel sends Yaz and Dan back to Mediton in 1901, where they find Peggy and encounter the older Mrs. Hayward, who turns out to be Peggy's future self. Meanwhile, Belle discovers a sinister plot on the planet Pisano involving Flux survivors trapped by Azure. She leaves a message for Vinda and continues her pursuit of Azure.
Back in 1967, Claire's premonitions and a rogue angel reveal their connections to the Division, offering to help the Doctor regain her lost memories. Chaos ensues as angels close in and the Doctor attempts to negotiate with the angels before learning that the rogue angel has offered her as a trade. The Division's dark secrets are unveiled and the Doctor transforms into a weeping angel. In a mid-credits scene, Vinda arrives on Pisano and vows to keep searching, finding Namaka, who shows him Belle's message.
Ooh, what a summary. Thank you for that, David. That was wonderfully read.
I do
That was a
try.
very brief minute of calm amongst this episode there, wasn't it, for a minute? It was just a little rest stop, and I fear we're about to get right back into it.
We're going to get right back into it. Well, I want to speak to our good friend and guest, David. What did you think of this episode?
Yeah.
It's alright.
It was fine.
It was alright.
Well, listen, guys, thanks so much for joining us this week.
So
You can
much,
find us on
guys.
all of our social platforms at Wholala Pod.
Remember to follow the @Who Watch podcast. I think, on a personal level, it's the best Weeping Angel story since Time of Angel Flesh and Stone.
I would agree. I think it was the same.
Sorry to be controversial on the pod.
No, I think we live for the controversy. We seem to get away with it on here. People don't seem to get too angry.
No.
Like, Angels Take Manhattan.
Shifty.
Shifty, fine, has good concepts, has, I think, some of the most horrific concepts and parts in Doctor Who. The factory farmers.
Yeah.
However, and there wasn't really an angel story for quite a while.
They would pop up a lot. Like, they popped up in the GOG complex in Time of the Doctor.
Time of the Doctor for 2 minutes.
Yeah, things
So
like that.
Matt Smith could reveal that horrible wig.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not really characters who should pop up, are they? Because they're kind of like such strong, almost like horror movie villains. It's like how you wouldn't like feature Megan of M3 Gan.
Mithrigan.
You wouldn't kind of give her a little feat like, oh my god, it's my worst fear Megan. Like that'd be such.
But I also could completely see people doing that in movies.
Sure, but it'd be such a disappointment.
Yeah.
Like her teaming up with the Five Nights at Freddy's puppets.
Yeah, very that.
people.
Yeah. And then Chucky's in the corner.
Oh yeah, and the other time that they pop up is
Oh, I know exactly what you're going to say. I know exactly where you're going with this.
It's episode 8 of series 1 and only series of Class.
Do you remember this at the end with the Council of Angels, I think, or something?
Yeah, so the governors.
The governors, yeah.
I had a Tumblr
seen
dedicated to Class when I was 16. Because it was made for me, that show, and I had the immense pleasure of quite recently meeting Patrick Ness at an event. And I was just like, thank you so much for writing Class. I had a really nice time watching it. And he was like, well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. What was meant to happen in season 2, and the person whose event I was meant to write for season 2, was meant to be like a civil war on the Weeping Angels' home planet, and it was meant to be like an origin story for the Weeping Angels.
No.
And I genuinely am flabbergasted, shocked, shook, and devastated that at absolutely no point that the consideration was made to like continue that series,
like repurpose the story
purely for that point. Like someone out
Sam
there.
looks so upset.
I didn't know this.
That was just so, like,
I love the Weeping Angels.
So like at the end of, if you've not watched Class, in part I don't blame you. It was very of its time for me because I was like 15, 16 and like really moody and like wanting to, like I was like, oh, I want programs that feel like me. and then there was this program that came along.
Feels like me.
Yeah, feels like me. At the end of series 1, it's revealed that the head teacher of the school, of Coal Hill School, Coal Hill Academy.
Oh, yeah,
sorry,
Coal
Hill Academy now is being like controlled by the governors, who are some mysterious power, played by Cyril Nye. AKA the shopkeeper from Sarah Jane Adventures. Might be the same character. I don't think that was ever explained.
Never been confirmed in the universe.
And some of the people who are on the governor's board or who are in control of the governors are the Weeping Angels who kill the head teacher at the end of the series. And Patrick Ness, had he been commissioned for series 2 of Class, was going to do a whole like big storyline involving the Weeping Angels and the origins of the Weeping Angels and their home planet and a civil war. And
I don't understand. Do you know what that is giving? It's giving to me how, with the Fantastic Beasts movies, I don't know if you've seen them.
No, because I have taste.
Yeah, no, and I don't blame you. Exactly. They started with an idea of like what would make an amazing movie, which is like a Dumbledore Grindelwald like love story war movie, and then that's great. We're going to do that in 5 movies time, but right now we're going to do some really boring movie set in Paris, and then guess what? It gets cancelled. So the bit like that's devastating.
Was that? I have not watched any of them.
No. They were going to do a 5 movie deal, and it got cancelled after the 3rd movie. Like they just didn't do it. But that's, I don't understand why. It's almost as though they're saying, right, we'll do like a softer like introduction to this group of people and then like a real kick-ass season next season.
Yeah.
But you can't do that. You have to like hit hard at the beginning.
I get it. Like I get the idea of like wanting to pull people in for to have a reason to come back. But at the same time, like if you've got such an amazing idea, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do it.
I do get it. Like if you're launching something, and I mean, I could talk quite a lot about like why Class flopped, and I don't think
we're gonna have to do another episode on Class.
I don't just like.
Don't come back.
I'll come back, but like TLDR, I don't think it's the writing. I think it's the fact that BBC didn't know how to market it.
Yeah, I think that's also very fair.
Yeah, I think that if you like, I get why they didn't just do that straight away, because you want to introduce people to the world of Doctor Who and the universe and the Who-niverse. You want to introduce people to the Who-niverse and the idea that there are aliens and monsters and these characters, and you want to build them up so you don't immediately just have to be like, oh my gosh, what the fuck is this? But I'm also disappointed that it's just never come to fruition. It's a really amazing idea that was meant to happen.
Well, I'm hopeful that something like that might come about eventually, because I was worried that after Stephen Moffat left, they were going to kind of leave the Angels, which is why with this episode, I was really glad they devoted a whole episode to the Angels to keep them going.
Yeah, I love it. Someone left a comment. They replied to our tweet, and I think they said, "It's a riot. Feels like the result of a long brainstorming session because it rings out what the Angels can do for all their worth. Coming through the TV, burning paper angels, the final twist, it's imaginative stuff. Manages to keep 3 people stuck in a basement feel thrilling."
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
It does feel like a great brainstorming session happened before this. The girls had a Miro board. They had sticky notes. They were just coming up with everything. They were like, no bad ideas in here, girls. No bad ideas.
I'll be completely honest. This episode feels like, you know that meme? BBC were broke. COVID had hit. Chris Chibnall was like getting shit on by the fans. Series 11 and 12 hadn't done as well as the people had hoped to. They said, let's just do an absolute banger. And they
Just one.
did.
And they did.
Oh, they did.
So, not just one. That's so rude.
No, they had a few bangers, but they really did. And people really loved this episode. I mean, on our Instagram, people said what they enjoyed. They said that ending, I was so shocked by it.
Yeah.
Gooped and gagged. Brilliant cliffhanger, but it's kind of ruined in the next episode. Can't disagree.
I can't disagree. I wish they had kept her in angel form. When I watched it the first time, I thought what they were going to do was like Yaz comes back every other day or something to be like, Doctor, this happened, and I miss you so much.
That would be so
I thought it was going to be
good.
like she was going to be like this statue that just is stuck still in 1901.
Yeah.
And she comes back and has to keep, and then eventually is like, I've got to find a way to get back to 2023, and you can't help me, so let me go and like travel the world and like try and find a way of getting back to
That would have been amazing.
2023.
Do you want to write for Doctor Who?
Yeah, I might as well.
Yeah, go on.
I'm not doing
Russell,
anything
call
else.
me.
That's been a really
Cool,
sad ending for Yaz, wouldn't it? If the Doctor became unfrozen in the future and Yaz was dead. God, you can't have a losing.
That's the Stephen Moffat ending. I think the angels are scary again.
Oh, they are.
I loved one thing that this is certainly my favorite episode of Flux. It's not the only good episode of Flux, but it's certainly my favorite one. And one thing that I love about it, more so than just bringing the angels back, is they made them scary again. Because like we said, they kept bringing the angels back for like odd cameos. And in the time of the Doctor, all they do is snatch the Doctor's wig. That's literally all they do. They're not scary anymore. And when you think of Blink, it's like the best Doctor Who episode.
It's utterly terrifying.
Because it's utterly terrifying. And in this, the music, the like strong violins, it's real like weeping angel-y music. Sagan's doing an amazing job with that. The shot like when Jericho opens the door and you just see like 8 angels outside.
Yeah.
And when they're running through the corridor and the arms.
There's
are, like,
arms, angels' arms coming out in the cave wall.
when Claire's like, Doctor, I think there's angels in the walls. Like,
of course there are. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Doctor's like,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
right,
Yeah, right,
cool.
move, keep moving.
Don't blink. But no, I love that the angels are scary again.
First time I watched it, like genuinely, I was like, this is terrifying. Like this is what I love. And also, like Matt said, Angel, like the first thing that 13 does when she arrives at the laboratory is tear up that angel, throw it in the fire, and then it pieces itself back together and projects itself, and then it sets itself on fire and goes, bah!
We were watching, there's that shot where she rips up the drawing, puts it in the fireplace, and then it kind of like blows back into the shape of an angel. And Alistair turns to us and he's like, do you think they filmed that and then just reversed it?
Yeah, I think a lot of them.
Yeah, it might have done, actually.
I like it as well. There's a sense, I think, with the angels that like they're like you feel like they're hunting, and they're enjoying it, right? And they refer to like, oh, they leave a few survivors behind because they want a few people to like tell the tale of their quantum extraction. But they feel like we've got time. They're like creeping in and they're like, we've got time, and we're gonna have a laugh with it as well. We're gonna have a little giggle.
Ring the doorbell.
Ring the doorbell. Knock the door. Like just like, and they are like,
It's a nice doorbell.
They keep inching in, and there is a real sense of like, you're screwed. You're really, really screwed.
They always say, and we've said this before on the podcast, that you should never be scared of the monsters running towards you. You want to be scared of the ones that are walking because they know they're going to get you either way. There's an amazing line later in the episode where Jericho's saying, you are observed and that's my power over you. And the angel just replies in Jericho's voice and says, we are patient, we have time, we are all around you, we are everywhere. And it's like, yeah, they're toying with them, they're playing.
Although, I just thought this just now. If you got to the roof and piloted a hot air balloon, you'd be fine, wouldn't you?
The funny thing about angels, they have wings. Can you imagine?
That would be the exact line
I
as
know.
well.
Can you imagine the next time we see the angels, they fly?
Was that
I
not
would
what they
hate
did with
that.
the host?
That was the host. No, that's the host. Yeah.
I
But
see.
can you imagine? Like, I mean, they do. They have wings.
I will
so,
say,
like,
I will say that I'm glad that we've not seen them move again since Flush and Stone.
No, that when they're like, they are faster than you can imagine. Then the next time we see them, they're like,
A couple of things I really like as well. One is I like how they keep building on concepts from earlier episodes, but I don't know how well this plays if you've never seen Doctor Who before. If you use Series 11 as a jumping on point and you don't know like the rules of how the angels operate, the blinking rule is obviously immediately obvious, but the whole like anything that holds the image of an angel but can become an angel. Is that clear to any of you?
I think they explain it quite well because Jodie says that Chris Chibnall gets read a lot, and I do think for good reason that he writes almost for audio drama where there's a lot of saying not doing, but it works on this episode for that reason because Jodie says the image of an angel becomes an angel. She immediately rips up the drawing and says any image becomes an angel, and she says to Jericho on the TV keep an eye on them, but at any time that could jump out the screen, so you have to not look too much.
Yeah.
So I do think there are enough little nuggets of information dropped that if you knew nothing you probably could figure it out, but it definitely does help you understand it more if you have seen the previous episodes.
I do love how they build on that, and I really like the concept of Claire having an angel in her mind without even having met an angel, because the premonition of an angel became one in her mind.
Mm-hmm. Psychic.
It's so cool. And I love psychics in the Doctor Who universe. There's this thing that keeps coming back again and again and again and again that's just a canonical thread through Doctor Who, which is just some humans are psychic. That's just
roll with it.
That's just a thing. I love that. It's so ooky spooky, unexplained, and I like it.
Fun fact.
Go on, you're psychic.
I'm psychic.
I thought so.
Not.
What am I thinking?
I can see the future, and it involves me leaving. I see the future.
It involves a brand new podcast on the horizon.
A brand new audio drama is on the horizon. Oh, it's Big
Finish Productions.
We love stories.
Oh, you make him sound a lot more sexual than he... Don't you fucking love a story?
Story.
Stories.
I've never listened to a Weeping Angel Big Finish story, and I know they are out there. I'm so curious how they do it, because they're such visual monsters.
I've not listened to one either, but there is apparently one with 10 and 6. Yes. That's very good.
There was a series. Do you know about this series? It's meant to be... 10 had a lot of adventures in between The Waters of Mars and
10
did at times. But there's a 3-part... they're 3 separate stories, but the running thread is that it's 10 meeting previous Doctors. And he has an episode with 10 and 4 in the Daleks, 10 and 5 in the Cybermen, and 10 and 6 in the Weeping Angels, sort of one after the other. And it's really cool.
I can't imagine 10 and 6 interacting.
They'd be quite sassy to each other, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I've listened to I've listened to the 10 and 4 one, and that is very, very good. And there is actually, I believe, made by Josh Snares, shout out to Josh, an animation that they did of the entire episode. I'm going to feel awful now if it actually wasn't Josh. I'm pretty confident to say that it was Josh, but no, they're very good audio dramas. But to get back to the episode, there's a very good one with the Angels, apparently.
Slay. Can we talk about Claire?
Oh, let's talk about
Please.
Underappreciated companion that never was.
That's what I was saying.
Because she comes back in episode 6 with Jericho. Spoilers, Jericho dies.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we could also talk about Jericho and how slay he is.
I really love Jericho as well.
But Claire...
That is so cool.
For a period of time, I think you might have both missed this. I don't know if you did, but... Do you both remember the period of time where there was a particular section of the Doctor Who fandom that was just obsessed with Claire and created the Mediton Appreciation Society?
No. I think I've completely missed this.
There's a particular section of Doctor Who Twitter, and they know who they are. Spoilers, at Gallifrey Cabaret, it's the Sapphics in the corner. Sure. Who when I did spoilers, I've done Gallifrey Cabaret, lol.
Frogtina Aguilera.
When I did Phoebe Bridgers, there was a particular section of the audience that went absolutely buck wild. Number 1, because I was doing something from 13's era, and number 2, because I was doing Phoebe Bridgers. And it is that particular section of the Doctor Who fandom who created Mediton Appreciation Society. Edits of Claire walking into Mediton in 1965 to City of That World by RuPaul, fake elections, a Mediton newspaper, just a whole thing.
I need to do a deep dive after this.
I feel like there will be stuff out there which someone can find, and I'll try and send them to
Please
both of you.
do, yeah.
We're so late into Doctor Who online. That's the thing. We've not even had the Doctor Who algorithm since for a year. Maybe we've really been in this sphere since that point.
Wholala is what's brought me into. I mean, I've been very open on the podcast about this.
We've seen the horrors of the discourse every day now.
We've managed to kind of stay out of it as the Wholala brand, but
they go low, we go high, and they go low.
When they go low, I also go low to reciprocate because I'm a kind person.
No, one thing that I really like about Claire is I think this whole series, like with Flux, suffers from diverting the episode, which I guess we'll talk about in a minute. I don't want to linger on that too much. Diverting the episode too much to things that aren't about the plot of the main episode. I think that Belle in this episode is a bad example of how to divert to a different subplot. I think Claire is an amazing example of how to have a callback or a tease in something in another episode, because she is in the first episode, The Howling Apocalypse. She has a very brief cameo where she meets the angel and gets sent back. And I think that is so good because you're left with questions, but it doesn't distract from the plot of that episode. And then in this episode, you get an amazing payoff for it. And I just don't think that was as well done with Belle.
This episode would be so great to show people as a standalone, and you could just chop out all the Flux stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and you just have like a really cool standalone
angel story.
I
absolutely get why they did it, because it's like, look, this other thing that is like massive is also happening at the same time. But wouldn't it have been nicer to just cut that out and put that in a separate episode?
That's what I think it
like
needed.
Another episode, or like a different episode in that series where it could afford to have that time.
It felt like it should have been in. It felt like to me they needed the cliffhanger, because the beginning of this comes in from a great cliffhanger with the angel has the TARDIS. But there was quite a lot of Weeping Angel stuff in the episode before this. It felt like they could have maybe put that in this as flashbacks maybe, and just had a weird cold open where you're trying to work out why there's an angel in the TARDIS, and then had that stuff in the last episode.
You know what it felt like? It felt like Chris Chibnall wanted to write eight episodes of this, and the BBC said, no, we want 6.
We can afford 6.
We can afford 6 with COVID restrictions. That's what it felt like, and we could get into that in a minute.
That is correct. Paul, you know what? I hate when people criticize Chris, because whenever Chris Chibnall... Well, I don't hate when people criticize Chris Chibnall. Whenever I see Chris Chibnall speak, he just seems like some guy's dad. And I'm just like, Chris, like, he'd be your friend's nice dad. Yes. And you're just like, oh, yeah, how are you, Chris? Oh, not too bad. I've been pottering around doing da-da-da. You'd be like, oh, lovely Chris.
Lovely Chris.
And people are like, this man killed Doctor Who. I'm like, he did his best, guys. He didn't want this job, I don't think.
What I was saying about the 8 episodes was a BBC criticism.
Yeah,
for sure,
exactly.
for sure.
Oh no, I did exactly that. I agree with you. Yeah,
and I also think like I'm very much a defender of this era of Doctor Who, because I had a fun time, and that's the thing. You know that video, you know that episode of Sex and the City where Christian Scholl's in it. Is it Christian Scholl? No, it's not Christian Scholl. So there's an episode of Sex and the City starring Kristen Davis, where she's standing next to an open window having a cigarette, and she goes, "Why don't people have fun anymore? What happened to having fun?"
Oh, yeah.
And then she falls out the window and dies.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah.
And that's how I feel about this particular era of Doctor Who, when people sit and they're like, this man killed Doctor Who. This is the worst era of Doctor Who ever. What happened to... Why did the... And I sit there and I go, I had fun.
It's never that
I had a fun time watching
it's a silly show.
Silly program, having a really fun time with these silly characters who have a nice time. I had a really enjoyable experience watching Sapphic Love, and I just had fun. And if your priority is, but what about subplot and lore and all of these threads that...
God, this is the wrong show for you.
Oh my lord. Like, the criticism that gets levelled at Series 11, I'm like, this is classic Who. This is classic Who.
I said the exact same thing when we did our recap. I said it is so reminiscent of Tom Baker's first series, and people love Tom Baker, and they love that series.
Individual adventures with an occasional running theme of like, oh, we're lost, we're trying to find the TARDIS. Large TARDIS team. And yes, do I wish that it expands on things? Yes, I wish that Ryan was more than just like a one-dimensional character. Yes, I wish that on occasion it was just Yaz, the Doctor, and Graham, or Yaz...
And the Doctor.
Yaz and the Doctor, especially in Flux, or Yaz, the Doctor, Graham, and Grace. Like, yes, I do wish those things had happened.
Yeah.
However...
Just have fun.
It's just fun. Just let people have fun. And the Flux in particular, there's always there's that rumor of like, oh, it was a first draft. It was like, well, number one, no, it was not, because he wanted to write 8 episodes. But number two, like, we were at a point, like, going back to the meme that we talked about earlier, there was a point where the BBC wasn't going to commission any more Doctor Who. There was a point where it just might not have happened at all. And Chris Chibnall went, no, let's actually do something. I will write less episodes so we've got time to film it, so we can take account for COVID, etc., etc. And the reason that we are sat here with Russell coming back, with all of this happening, is because Flux happened. It's because Doctor Who, had a new era, had a new moment, and people realised the value of it, and the BBC continued to invest into it. And look at what we've got now.
No, but I think it's true. I think some people do just think that. I think this is where people think that we could have just wrapped up at Capaldi for 5 years, and then somehow this would have all just ended up happening. That would have just been a mini hiatus we didn't need. I think that's what people naively think would have happened.
You both said it in the last episode, like the number of people who I saw watching this show for the first time who I haven't seen watching it before, particularly, like, just to be completely frank, female friends of mine and non-binary friends of mine who had never interacted with the show before and were like, oh, this is fun, I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm actually, like, people who I know who have got kids who were like, oh, this is really family friendly, I like watching this is really great, I can watch it with my kids who are like 7 and they're really enjoying it. Like, that's why...
Like, everything in Doctor Who has to be...
No, sorry, I think what you meant is everything has to be for men.
That was me pretending to be a man.
I was going to say, like...
It was
wait, I'm a man.
to be a man.
Shit. 2 things. I'm going to get through these points fast. Yaz and Dan are such a fun pair. I love this dynamic. It just works so well for me. I really, really like the slight banteriness there. They're like, shut up, Sheffield, or whatever. Or shut up, Liverpool. I can't do a Dan impression. Shit.
All right. Oh, no, Scottish.
Oh, God.
So
Too high.
it's chicken and a can of Coke. All right.
I'm good at this. I can do it when I think of evil Dan.
I'm good at this.
I'm good at this.
What's the point of being alive?
What's the point of being alive? I can only do it via evil Dan impressions.
Take the soup, Dan. Take the soup, will you?
This season gave us evil
Before
Dan.
we go home tonight, we're going to watch some Evil Dan videos. I love Yaz's coat in this episode as well. That's a side point. But Dan, I really like Dan's dry delivery. I feel so safe with Dan, though. Well, Dan says to that little kid, like, oh, well, best not go over there, eh? Either way, let's stand back here. Let's be safe. I'm like, let's stand over here, Dan. Hold my hand. I feel like you smell nice. Hold my hand.
Dan's always clean.
Dan.
Oh, he's so
I mean,
clean.
Dad.
Literally. He's another, like, someone's nice dad. Is this Chibnall setting himself in?
Do you know what I wonder if that was meant to be Graham in this series, because he's very Graham, and then the chase was taking up a lot of time. Maybe
Was that actually what it was?
I don't know, but like maybe I'm wondering because you could swap. I think Dan out for Graham, and the story would have basically been the same.
Oh, don't say that.
No, but no. I don't know. Sorry, I don't mean it in an insulting way.
Characters who play a similar
It plays a role, but Dan is far more feisty.
Yes, no, I agree. Yes.
And I think because of the hardships of cost of living crisis, but like he's far more giving, I think, than Graham is.
Yeah.
Not saying that Graham's not giving, like, obviously, you're doing it, mate. But, like, I just wanted to get that in somehow.
That was a nice segue.
Thank you. But, like, he's very, like, people focused and very community focused, and he's very, like, feisty. Like, when Carmen Easter comes in, he's not like, oh my gosh, an alien. He's like, bore off, like, get out of my house, what are you doing here?
Literally. I've got a frying pan.
Yeah, what are you doing with Santara and
Pans like Santarin.
So they're a really fun pair. I really, really love them. They're fun to me. Then the old man Gerald in this. Oh my god. I don't know, like, really even how to feel about this, because I don't know if it's like is it
intentional?
Well, yeah, exactly. Is it intentional? Because I don't even know how to describe, like, the way he is. He's written as such, like, a grumpy old man that it's almost, like, funny how caricature the character is. But when he's with his wife Jean and they reach the end of the road and they're sort of staring into the abyss of space and, like, the absolute existential horror that would cause. She's like, what is it? And he just goes, I don't know, Jean, but I don't like it. It's like, now, and
also,
then
why didn't you see it when you were walking up?
And Yaz is in tears as well, like, begging this, like, please get away from the angel, get back to it.
Mandip is an incredible actress then. The tears.
Don't do that. And he's like, can't be that heavy.
Oh no, the little girl, she's like, don't go near it. He's like, oh, what you not tell me what to do?
They never survive twice.
Oh god. Greta Thunberg was reading.
I'm so sorry. He was never nice to me.
She's giving, I see dead people.
Very that.
She's a 10-year-old girl. What could you possibly need to know?
She's like the good version of Sister of Mine.
Yes. Oh my God. She's the other side of that coin.
She's good
She's
Sister of
I
Mine.
don't know if I'd say good. Like on the chaotic evil neutral chart, she kind of sits at, she's a neutral.
She is neutral.
She's a lawful neutral.
Lawful neutral.
Lawful neutral sister of mine.
You've been listening to Wholala Pod.
Well, lawful neutral Sister of Mine. Are you going to take me on now? Really?
The opposite of that is just saying nothing while he tries to pick up a weeping angel.
I've just read one of my notes for this episode. I just wrote the drawing angel is cunty, but the fire angel is cuntier.
That's such a point in itself. I love that. The angel jumping out the TV was such a whoa moment for me. I love
The fire angel as well. I love
fire
when they
angel
do
is such an idea.
Well, it's like what you said. They took what had already existed in Doctor Who, and they didn't just do it again. They built on it, and they like went further with it, and that's what I think this episode does well.
Or on the machine that's like measuring her brainwaves and it just starts drawing the angel randomly. It's like, oh, God.
And it's in the angel's head, and the angel's thinking of angel, and it's
It's like an idea that, you know, that to bring to screen must have taken so much work, and it's 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Like there's a level of detail in this that I think is really, really great.
It's really nice. I think if you can see it across Flux, right? This is the other thing that you both picked up on last week. Can you tell I'm a fan? Is that like people, when the 60th trailer came out, they were like, Doctor Who's looking so good right now. Oh, that's so looks so good. And I'm like, where have you been the last? Like you clearly switched off, because the last 5 years of Doctor Who, stunning. Like it all looks beautiful.
A lot of people are really unhappy with that, and they're like, no, they're the same cameras as in Series 6, just new lenses. No, they do too many close-ups on their faces.
TikTok did pop off with a lot of people saying that.
What?
Actually, it's very average.
It's not. They got whole new cameras for it.
And then you get a couple of people like, well, yes, maybe they're good cameras, but they're not shooting anything good. And I was like, wow.
Well, this is like point and case, right? Point and case? Case and point. One of those things.
Wait, hold that and reverse it.
Hold that, reverse it. Scratch that.
Scratch that. Reverse it. I'm making chocolate, of course.
Everyone in the comments, when I said it looks good, scratch that.
Reverse it.
David said one point that I liked when we watched this episode is, so Kevin McNally is the actor that plays Jericho, and he's great in this. I think both him and Annabelle Scody, who plays Claire, who's also lovely in real life, they would both make other the good companions. Sorry, I think I dropped something there.
Clang. Have you met Annabelle Scody?
I did a shoot with her. But David, when we were watching it, you said that you thought Kevin McNally would make a good Doctor, and I really liked that. I think because I think he really would. Like, there's the scene when the Doctor and Claire are in the headset and they're having the like mind conversation, and he's having to deal with the angels alone, and he's being really like authoritative, and the angel is talking to him in a way that they might talk to a Doctor, a bit like with what was the in the time of angels? I'm Bob, sir, Angel Bob.
Oh, Angel Bob.
A bit like how Angel Bob might talk to the Doctor.
I died, sir. I was in pain, sir. I was scared, sir.
Yeah, very that. That also sounds like something Locktober they might say to you.
Very Locktober.
Very Locktober.
I don't know what that is.
I've never heard those words in my life. But no, I really like that, because I think that he, in that scene in particular, he is very authoritative and very doctory, and I do think that he would have made a good Doctor.
Yeah, I loved it. We haven't really talked about Jericho so far. He is so stellar.
He's a dad that makes me feel safe. Granddad makes me feel safe.
Fantastic character. I really like that he is so plausibly not freaked by the situation, because the thing that overrides his fear is his scientific curiosity. And so though the situation is so bizarre, he is so intrigued by the bizarre. And then they give it a little bit of context as well, like, well, this guy was a soldier and he saw like the horrors of the Second World War. And
so it's not going to affect him as much.
So this guy has had some heavy painkillers for some time, and his neurons are fried. So this guy can handle it. And he loves it. I think he's kind of enjoying the thrill. And then, he doesn't. Later on in the Flux, he goes back in time. He's like, yeah, I'm back in time.
Yeah, no, he goes back in time in this episode.
He goes back to 1901, and then he stays with Dan and Yaz for 3 years, during which I'm assuming they're like, so here's everything I know about the Doctor, and this is what the TARDIS is like.
He's probably all caught up.
Yeah, exactly. He's in the next 2 episodes, and sadly,
And he never got to come on a trip.
He sadly dies.
Yeah. Do you think in those 3 years they explored each other's bodies? I think that
Why,
Dan.
why are you looking me in the eyes
Listen.
when you say that?
What you need to also remember is that you have to remember that ultimately Jericho is a homophobe. He's a product of his time.
He would be.
How do you know?
One would be led to assume.
This is like when I said
Eyes.
we were playing our game of Guess Who, Doctor Who, and
Would they be a homophobe?
my character was Harry Sullivan, and your question was like, would this guy like use this slur? And I was like, oh my god, he really would. Yes, definitely. And then
Guess
everyone
messaged
came
you
back like,
afterwards.
yeah. So
You came back. You were messaging.
like, yeah, so that character is canonically gay, and I was like, oh.
Well,
sorry.
okay, so I would pull that back slightly
Yeah.
from doing further research, which is that he was intended to be referenced in Death of the Doctor,
the Sarah Jane Adventures, Harry's husband.
as
I
like
think I heard that.
someone's. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was.
Oh,
Was it Joe Grant? Joe Grant's grandson. Then I think is meant to have had somewhere in his lineage be related to Harry,
Oh.
and then Harry comes out in later life, and they were gonna. I think they were also gonna mention it at Farewell Sarah Jane.
No, that
And
would
it
have
just
been nice.
never happened.
Well, that would have been nice because apparently, I mean, obviously he didn't say anything publicly, but after he died, Nicholas Courtney, who played the Brigadier, said that the actor who played Harry had come out to him as bisexual privately. So
wow, this really like makes what he said worse and worse and worse.
yeah, Alison, you're a terrible
so
person.
glad
It's
this didn't
horrible.
do
Do you want me to
Yes.
loop this back around to Third Angels to stop making you like
This
such a terrible
didn't make-
person?
I'm glad this didn't do numbers. So glad.
Well, coming back to Village of Angels, one thing that I'm going to do a low here, guys. We've been very highball. I'm going to do a low. I think that this episode is in one too many places because the episode's in 1901, the episode's in 1967. Both of those make sense. As we mentioned earlier, we're in space for a lot of it.
Pizzano.
I don't think we needed to be in space. I know we touched on it briefly, but we just didn't in this episode anyway. We didn't need to be in space. I think,
Yeah.
like you said, we could have just cut these bits out. I think it's one too many places to be, and it really like what you said it really well when watching it. Like slows down the flow.
It slows down the pace very much. You're
Yeah.
like really getting into like the tension, and then it's like then you get this kind of like monologue from Belle about where she is traveling through, and I'm like, oh,
I think there could have been a way to make it work, but again, like I think the whole storyline just for me was a bit like, why are we talking about this?
Why we
yeah,
here.
it just feels like
like-
you've literally spliced another episode of Doctor Who
Yeah.
into another one. They
It did
had
feel like
no relevance.
I love my notes list. I sort of seem to have forgotten everything I wrote while making notes. One of my notes just says, flow of the episode is ruined by the shiny glitter lady.
Oh, true.
The shiny glitter. Azure. I will say, Rashenda Sandal, throughout all of Flux, serves. I am Azure, and I am your death. Like, serving all the way through thick prosthetics and makeup is very hard to do.
I do love that they chose prosthetics over CG.
Oh, 100%.
Prosthetics age
100%.
nice. Especially in Doctor Who, they age
Yeah.
nice.
They do.
Even like the bubble wrap in like Ark in Space.
Oh, I love the
looks
bubble wrap in
great.
Ark and Space. I love that whole. It's season 14. I love that whole season, and yeah.
I've been thinking about getting it.
Is it season 12? Oh, thank you. Because okay, last week I said season 14. I was like, I prefaced. I was like, oh, that might not be right. And you were like, no, it's right. No,
Season
you're
14
right.
is Tom Baker's first season.
I mean, well, you're the historian. I'll trust you more. But I want it on the record. On Wholala, I said it might be wrong, but
And I
yeah.
sat and I was like,
And I was like, no, you're right.
you're right, you're so right, you're so right. It's
Do you know, I
actually
like how you gassed me up, though, Alice.
And listen, at this point, we'd love to say a kind word to our sponsor. Listen to the Who Watch. Sam, I can never remember my season 12 to my season 14. Do you ever find that?
Oh, I do.
In 40 years' time, when we come to that, we'll give you a shout and be like, right, this one's for Sam, season 12.
If we give you a fiver and you give us a fiver, can
Yeah.
we each do a paid ad on each of our podcasts?
We have to declare that as self-employment.
Right, God bless Idea Graham, because in some of these episodes of Flux, I'm a defender of Flux. Overall, I think it's like I had a fun time watching it. Lots of like, I like interconnecting stuff. I like stuff that has lots of threads. But by God, some of the lines that she is given, forgive me for my French, but utter shit. Like, and I'll be waiting for you with your as yet unborn child. Just say your child. Who says they're unborn, as yet unborn child.
It just goes to show that,
child.
like, and I'm not trying to like shit on the writing and stuff, but she was recently in Sex Education playing a character called O, and she was fantastic. She was amazing. Ate all that up, and I loved her, and I always think about the character. I always remember exactly the character she played, the name. I just forget she was in this season because she was so forgettable and like had like bad lines. And maybe I'm being overly harsh, and like it is a good season to have fun with. But I think that her character didn't need to be in this season, which is sad because I love her as an actress, and I think that she would be great in Doctor. She's someone who I'd love them to do like a Gemma Chan with the Marvel universe and just give her a completely new character. Yeah, be like, okay, come back. Forget you did that one. Do here's a good.
Like, she does have badass moments, like when she like in Carvanista's ship, with a Lipari ship, and she shoots like the Cybermen. Like that's quite a badass moment. Yeah. And she has a really emotional moment. She has this really emotional moment. She's like, you know, what, like the Cybermen's like, what does the point of trying to travel around world's time and space like this? And she's like, for love. And it really is nice. But again, it just feels like you said, Alasdair, like they've just spliced up this episode and like just thrown this in. If there had been a separate series or like a spin-off where it was like set during the Flux, this BBC iPlayer exclusive explores two people trying to cross space and time to find each other who are in love, I'd have been so down for that. And it would have been great. But because it's just shoehorned in to, I feel really bad for saying all of this. Like, I love the series, but it's shoehorned into episodes where it just doesn't need to be there. And you could have spent the extra 10-15 minutes developing like
the story of the episode,
or everyone's favorite suffix. Like, I would have rather that than.
I agree with you.
Take me. What's happening to my baby?
Well, we were saying before, I was like, I think it's not in this episode, but I was like, I really want because Division is something I think gets obviously dealt with a lot in the series, but underdeveloped. And I was like, I would love a spin-off, a Joe Martin-led spin-off of The Fugitive Doctor in Division. Yeah. And Alasdair, which I agree with is rightfully so, you were like, no, they shouldn't do that. They should have already done that. And now they shouldn't going into. I think that what they should have done, knowing they were going to do this miniseries, and I guess that they then put all their efforts into the 60th anniversary and such, so I do understand why they didn't do it, is a miniseries. It could have been a 3-episode miniseries with Joe Martin about that, and either as a part of that or as like a one-off special, a story developing that idea of like following two people in the Flux. The Flux, you know, that thing that just happened in Doctor Who, we're following this couple that have nothing to do with the Doctor, a bit like how with Star Wars they're now doing separate stories that aren't doing the Skywalkers, and really putting the energies into making that separate and good. Now it's too late, I think. I think this era happened and we're now moving into a new one, but there is so much that we could have explored.
My Flux theory is that you're going to look at me like I'm bizarre, and I'm going to hear people in the comments be like, what's he talking about? My Flux theory or reading of it as somebody who is Zambian, happy 59th anniversary Zambia, as of a few days ago, is that it's a commentary on the British Empire.
Okay.
And the reason that I say that is because I think that, well, specifically, I think Division is a commentary on the British Empire of this product, this idea that goes and invades other parts of the universe, that does what it thinks is right without consideration of other people and their experience and how they live. And then when they make a mess of it, they leave it and move on to something else. So at the end of the Flux series, we find out that the Doctor's adopted mother, who ran Division or was a major part of Division, is living outside of the universe, in between universes, and is basically like, we let the Flux out to destroy the entire universe because we're done with it and we're moving on to the next universe. And it kind of just has that feeling of, oh, you want reparations? Oh, you're experiencing this mad disease that's coming to harm all your people? We're gonna go.
We're done.
So we're done here. We've
that project failed.
That project failed. We've pillaged and taken all of like the natural resources that you have.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna jump, and you guys do it. So enjoy.
You kind of in this episode get what's her name? The glitter skull lady.
Azure.
But this is the thing. I actually really like that theory because what they're doing they think is right.
Yeah.
And then she comes and she's like, you can all come with me in the passenger. And like when the two people are left, she's like, don't worry, it's okay. There'll be another time. Like as if to still try and sell the idea that like, no, this is good. This is the right thing. Yeah. Even though you're literally decimating everything, basically. Yeah. I really like that theory.
You're welcome.
Never thought about it.
Very strong, David. Well done.
Thanks.
This is why we need to bring you on because we just
a new perspective.
Chat shit. And, new perspective, and we also just chat shit. So you're actually bringing like insightful thought into Wholala. Thank you so much.
There's a point in there as well. I think about the way the division uses different species.
Yeah, exactly.
And they have people everywhere. It's not just like like a kind of like a room of people who are just sort of shooting out their agents from wherever, but it's like seedier and more kind of embedded than that.
Yeah, embedded is a really good word. Like they are inside every single society, every single species. Like, and I do think it'd be very fascinating. Like talking more about like Doctor Who as a piece of fiction and not a commentary. I think it would be absolutely fascinating if they had done like, Joe Martin, Craig What's-His-Chops dressed as a dog and a weeping angel doing an adventure in time and space. But like former companion Carvanista, who saw that coming at the start of Flux.
Yeah, I know.
And you can't talk about it because you'll die.
So the last thing that we sort of want to touch on this episode is the corker of a cliffhanger that you get. Now, I think the reason I think I love this episode so much is because it opens from an amazing cliffhanger and it ends on an amazing cliffhanger. What did you two think when you watched this for the first time and the Doctor turned into a weeping angel?
Can I be totally honest? I mean, so great. Like, love looking at it. So visually stunning.
Here she goes.
So brilliant. Here she goes. Shut up. I love the way it looks, but I wasn't like, oh my god, the Doctor. Like,
I mean, we all knew she was going to be fine, but like, as a concept. I mean, there was something you said that was so much more interesting, right? About like a different way they could have played it.
Yeah.
But like the idea of like there being a consequence that goes on a little bit longer, that's more of like a criticism, I guess, of the next episode than it is this one. Like, fantastic cliffhanger. And again, like I guess a great cliffhanger that's maybe like resolved a bit too quick as well. It's like, oh my god, an angel finally has the TARDIS. Which is kind of abandoned a bit quick as well, because it was like the ultimate goal of the Weeping Angels used to be like, oh my god, imagine if they got the TARDIS, because they'd have like an unlimited food supply.
It has a different purpose though, that angel.
And that angel, I guess, was like, okay, well, there's other things I can do, but it was still sitting on like a treasure chest that it didn't decide to tap into.
I do think Flux cliffhangers as a negative do tend to resolve themselves quite quickly.
They do.
Because the story just moves so quickly.
Yeah, so I think it could be more interesting. I mean, the fact that she's kind of just turned in stone as a transportation method was a little disappointing.
Yeah.
But it was a very cool scene. Very, very cool scene.
Would it have been better if they had said, if she had been teleported or whatever to the, what's the name of the mother again?
Tecteun.
If they had transported to Tecteun ship and had gone, where are we? And she goes, oh, Doctor, we're outside of the universe. Would that have been better, or would it have been better to have been like Stone Angel?
I think Stone Angel was a better cliffhanger than that, purely because of the visual and like the feel, and like even, all cliffhangers mean nothing because you always know the Doctor's going to get out of it. I think that would have then posed a lot of, I think that would have posed a lot of questions as to like who, because unless they turn around, they're like, oh, I'm Tecteun. Like that would have been quite a lot. I think that would have been another case of them cutting in a Flux thing and being a bit like, oof, at the end of the episode. Yeah. I think that they chose the right cliffhanger. I do agree though that like the only reason they did it, I think the visual they wanted the Doctor as an angel was more important than the reason she became an angel or the reason she came out of it. Agree. And that's where the criticism comes. Yeah, I do think it was a cool visual.
Yeah, me too. It was a very cool visual, but it didn't serve a huge purpose.
Overall, can't put up this episode.
I think
it's a great episode.
I think there's lots of little camp moments.
Well, speaking of,
don't you know that I'm a professional?
I know, but you're going to be on the receiving end of this one.
Oh, okay, right. Oh, yes, the dreams come true. I get to play camp with
David, are you ready to play a little game of camp or down?
I'm good, actually. I've got stuff to do, so
David.
I was joking. I want to play camp or down.
Well, as always, we have a few little lines from the episode that we consider some might be camp and some might not be, and we're gonna see what you think.
Yeah. Okay, David, camp or damp? You can come next time.
I've heard that line many a time before.
How many times have you watched this episode?
Yes, camp. I also, can I throw in another camp?
Yeah.
Alasdair's voice whenever he does camp with that.
Oh yeah, you love to go. Wow, 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 wow.
I've subdued it a little these days. Did you hear that? I've learned to do it at a much lower pitch there.
You can come next time.
It's a very nice sounding doorbell, camp or damp.
Yes, in the context of the episode, yes, camp. Yeah, the delivery of it. And they're like, are they seriously ringing the doorbell? It's a nice sounding doorbell. Anyway.
That's the line I should have put down. Are they seriously ringing the doorbell? I guess final one. She's a 10-year-old girl. How much is there to know?
I'm going to say damp, but not because it's not a great delivery, but
Nothing camp about it.
Oh, it's 11 o'clock, my mate. Actually, no, that character is camp.
In his own way.
In his own way. In his own
way.
Masculine way of 1960s.
It can't be that heavy.
You got to see the full effect.
Even in the context of it not being a weeping angel, you didn't need to pick it up. We better. This shouldn't be here. Like, what the fuck? What are you doing?
I'm just gonna lift this stone statue.
She even says to him, she's like, it's stone. And he's like, man, it can't be that heavy.
It's that no one else ever being zapped by a weeping angel has made a noise. Everyone's just gone. Apart from him. He lingered.
In this episode, it was weird that like it's the only time we've ever really seen you get transported. It's odd.
Yeah.
I assume there'd be more of an effect. You just fade.
You just appear as well on the other side. Yes, and we see them arrive, yeah.
Well, I did look for some fun facts for this episode, and I don't mean to be so thin on the ground. There aren't that many. So I would love for you to reach out to us on all of our Wholala Pod platforms to let me know if you know any fun facts about this episode. I do have a couple, though.
Go on.
So the action mainly takes place on Tuesday, the 21st November 1967, which is exactly 54 years earlier than the date of the episode's original BBC One transmission in 2021.
Same with Halloween Apocalypse.
Exactly.
Trick or treat.
Trick or treat, Doctor.
Halloween. Trick or treat.
Trick or treat.
Halloween, trick or treat.
You look nothing like Forbad. Anyway.
And the other little fun fact I found is that the title is actually taken a classic film, The Village of the Damned, which is from 1960. Also, that film's set in a quaint, quiet little English town. So I think that was the reference. I always think this is The Village of Angels, like the time of angels, but it is Village of the Angels.
Right.
I like those fun facts.
Thank you. They're few but weighty.
Whitey.
Whitey.
I'm having a stroke. I'm very tired.
Part of me is, because it's the other half isn't.
Please tell everyone where they can find you and where they can find your new podcast.
Oh my goodness, well you can find me, specifically me, on @David_Chipper on Twitter, @DavidChipper, 2 P's 1A on Instagram. It's mainly, I will warn you, at the moment, Big Brother content and
it's great though.
News retweets. So if you like either of those things, the occasional funny moment from me, then do feel free to follow.
I love, you recently have been sending everyone a meme of Jackie Tyler on the Big Brother chair.
Oh my gosh.
And it's my favourite thing.
I can't take credit for that. I think that belongs to Harrison Brocklehurst, though I might be wrong on that. So either way, give credit to her because she's funny as fuck.
Yeah.
She is. She's a queen.
And the podcast?
The podcast. So if you want to find the Who Watch podcast, which is myself and Beth Axford, watching every single episode of Doctor Who, every single story from 1963 to the present day. We are starting with An Unearthly Child, and you can watch along with most of it on iPlayer, but probably not that one, given the current state of circumstances. Then you can find us at Who Watch Podcast. All one word, no underscores.
No zeros for O's.
No zeros for O's.
No pods on the end.
No pods on the end. I wonder who would do that.
That would look fun.
Oh, rad. Who Watch Podcast on Twitter, Instagram. We're on YouTube. We're going to be on TikTok. We're going to be everywhere. Probably not Threads because that's owned by you.
You're spreading like the Flux.
Spreading like the Flux. and will be quickly forgotten about.
Oh my god! Well,
Feel the universe breaking.
me under the weight of all our new Doctor Who podcasts.
You can feel the universe breaking.
Our social, Sam.
Yes, on our socials, which are at Wholala Pod on basically everything. We're on Twitter /X, Instagram, TikTok. I always want to say Vine, and we're still not on that because that is dead. We are on Threads, however, which is thriving and surviving.
So millennial. You're younger than me. You're so much more millennial.
But I do want you to reach out to us on our socials because next week we are very excited. The next 2 weeks, actually, I'll tell you now, of Wholala, we are looking at The Stolen Earth and then Journey's End. So we would love to hear your thoughts and feelings and premonitions about those episodes as we're getting so close to the 6th anniversary. We finally have the air dates. We know when they're coming. So we can actually plan the podcast.
The most important one, 23rd November, 12:15 p.m. on BBC One. see my face do a classic episode of Bargain Hunt. And a little question for you. Do you think I'll make it to the end of the episode? Do you think I'll be in the whole thing?
You'll have to wait and see.
Find out if there are any medical problems.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, David, for joining us. If we don't wrap this up now, we're going to talk to you forever because we love you so much. Thank you for listening to this episode of Wholala, and we will see you next week when we look back on The Stolen Earth.
See you then.
Bye.
It's them aliens again, isn't it?